The movie tells the story of Nick, a former American soldier imprisoned in Japan in 1954 and sentenced to 10 years. In the opening scene, Nick is cleaning the prison's bathroom area when 5 large, tattooed men walk out of the bathroom staring at him provocatively. Inside, Nick finds another inmate hanging with his hands tied. He yells for the guards while trying to save the man, and another prisoner arrives to help lower him. Curiously, this act of saving the man's life goes completely unacknowledged. Soon after, a group of guards calls Nick and the other prisoner who helped him. Both are beaten. The head guard says he received a letter from the man who attempted suicide, indicating that a gang member will soon be released. Since Nick doesn't understand Japanese, he has no idea what's being said. Frustrated, the head guard orders that Nick be thrown into solitary confinement. In the isolation cell, Nick discovers he's sharing it with the man he saved. The man introduces himself as Kiyoshi, a member of the Shiramatsu Yakuza clan. Kiyoshi asks Nick for help in carrying out an escape plan. He plans to fake another suicide attempt so the guards will send him to the hospital, where a Shiramatsu clan member will help him escape. In return, he promises that the Shiramatsu brothers will help Nick in the future. The plan goes into action. While the prisoners work outside, Nick finds a rock and sharpens it for Kiyoshi to use. Days later, back in the cell, Kiyoshi prepares to stab himself with the sharpened rock and asks Nick to make sure he survives and calls the guards in time. The plan works. The guards panic upon seeing Kiyoshi's condition and raise the alarm. Eventually, Nick is released from prison before completing his full sentence. He cuts his hair, shaves his beard, and walks out of the prison looking renewed. A man is waiting for him in a car to take him to the Shiramatsu clan's headquarters in Osaka. There, Nick is greeted warmly by the clan leaders, who offer him a job related to an American man. Nick accepts. That night, a Shiramatsu member gives Nick money to rent a hotel room. Later, Nick visits a gambling area and a bar where he meets a beautiful Japanese woman who catches his eye. He leaves her a generous tip. The next day, Kiyoshi takes Nick to a factory to meet Anthony Panetti, an American. Nick's job is to negotiate with Panetti over his metal factory and business, since Panetti had previously rejected Shiramatsu's offer. However, Panetti has received a rival offer from the Shizu clan of Kobe. During the meeting, Panetti mocks Japanese culture and the Yakuza, making it clear that he won't sell his metal at the price Shiramatsu proposed. He ends the conversation by saying, "Now get the hell out of my office." Realizing that words won't be enough, Nick grabs a typewriter and smashes Panetti in the head with it, forcing him to accept the Shiramatsu clan's offer. After successfully completing his first task, Nick and Kiyoshi are taken to a bar by Shiramatsu officers. While they're drinking, members of the rival Shizu clan arrive to confront them over what happened to Panetti. One of them taunts Nick until he loses patience and smashes a bottle over his head. The Shiramatsu members quickly react, pulling guns on the Shizu men, who eventually back down. Nick's boldness earns him the attention of the clan leaders and Kiyoshi's admiration. Kiyoshi gives Nick a luxurious apartment and tells him he wants him to join the Shiramatsu Yakuza clan. Later, Kiyoshi invites Nick to take care of a problem at one of the clan's bars, whose owner has been challenging Shiramatsu authority. When negotiations fail, Nick slits the bar owner's throat, and Kiyoshi finishes the job by stabbing him. After completing the task, Kiyoshi takes Nick to a nightclub owned by the Shiramatsu clan. There, Nick sees the beautiful woman from before, now dancing with some men. Kiyoshi pulls her off the dance floor and scolds her, worried that members of the Shizu clan could sneak weapons into the club and endanger her. Kiyoshi then asks Nick to escort the woman home. Before saying goodbye, Kiyoshi reveals that she is his sister, Miu. When they arrive at her apartment, Miu invites Nick inside. The two become intimate, and Nick notices a Yakuza tattoo on her back. The next day, things take an unexpected turn. Kiyoshi calls Nick for a new mission to purchase weapons from an American soldier. However, Kiyoshi makes it clear that the soldier must not know that Nick or the transaction is connected to the Shiramatsu clan. Nick must carry out the mission alone. Nick heads to the port where the exchange is supposed to take place, but instead of finding the soldier, he discovers a corpse. Soon after, members of the Shizu clan appear, intending to sabotage the arms deal and steal Nick's money. Fortunately, Nick had hidden the money earlier in his car, frustrating the Shizu men. Furious when they can't find it, they decide to kill him. One of the Shizu men orders Nick to kneel for execution. At first, he obeys, but then quickly fights back using his combat skills. In the confrontation, Nick manages to kill 2 of the attackers. The Shiramatsu clan leader learns about the incident at the port and calls an emergency meeting with all clan members, including Nick and Kyoshi. He suspects there's a traitor within the organization who leaked the plan. Kyoshi insists the $2 million Nick carried is still safe since it was hidden. However, the leader scolds Nick for killing 2 CZU members, fearing it could trigger a gang war. To prevent a major conflict, the Shiramatsu leader orders Nick to cut off 2 of his fingers as a form of apology. Upon hearing this, Kyoshi offers to cut off his own fingers, feeling guilty for involving Nick. The leader accepts the sacrifice from both, and their severed fingers are sent to the CZU clan as an apology for the deaths. The story continues with a conversation between Nick and the Shiramatsu leader in a car. In this discussion, the leader, who is also Kyoshi's stepfather, confides in Nick that he suspects a CZU spy has infiltrated their organization. Later, Nick is taken to a formal ceremony where he is officially accepted as a member of the Shiramatsu clan. That night, during the celebration for his induction, Nick steps outside the bar to talk to Kyoshi. He tells him about his relationship with Miu, something Kyoshi initially disapproved of. Kyoshi didn't want his sister involved in the Yakuza world, fearing for her safety. But Nick assures him that, no matter what happens, he will protect Miu. Upon hearing they've been intimate, Kyoshi finally gives his blessing and congratulates Nick, now considering him a brother. With his official acceptance into the clan and Kyoshi's approval, Nick decides to get a full back tattoo matching Miu's. While he gets the tattoo, Miu stays by his side and explains the unique meaning of Yakuza tattoos. In the following days, Nick fully immerses himself in the Yakuza lifestyle. During a train ride with Miu, Nick spots a CZU clan member who had tried to kill him at the port. Later, CZU clan members arrive at Shiramatsu headquarters with a business proposal. However, the Shiramatsu leader feels insulted because the CZU leader didn't come in person and instead sent a young, lower-ranking representative. Although a Shiramatsu officer named Orachi tries to convince him to accept the offer, the leader immediately rejects it. That night, while drinking with Kyoshi, Orachi expresses his frustration that the leader ignored his advice. Despite Kyoshi's warnings, Orachi seems consumed by rage. Later, he visits Miu, his former romantic interest, and tries to rekindle their relationship, but she firmly rejects him. In a fit of anger, Orachi slaps her and tries to assault her. The scene shifts to a meeting between the Shiramatsu and CZU clans during a sumo wrestling match. This time, the CZU clan leader himself approaches the Shiramatsu leader with a new proposal, not a business deal, but an invitation for the Shiramatsu leader to retire and allow their clan to merge with the CZU. The Shiramatsu leader rejects the offer, calling it an insult, and reminds the CZU leader that the Shiramatsu are wolves, not dogs confined to a cage. Before leaving, he warns him to be careful on his way back to Kobe. Meanwhile, an American man unexpectedly greets Nick on his way home. It's Paulie Bowers, a U.S. soldier and former comrade of Nick's who is currently on leave. Bowers seems surprised but happy to see him, prompting Nick to feel obligated to join him. During their conversation, Bowers threatens to expose Nick, revealing that he faked his own death to avoid a court-martial. Acting quickly, Nick invites him home to buy time. Once there, he offers him a drink, then suddenly slashes his throat with a small knife, killing him. Afterward, Nick heads to Miu's apartment. When she opens the door, he's shocked to see a bruise on her face. Enraged, he demands to know who hit her, but she refuses to say. Instead, she tells him she's pregnant with his child. Surprisingly, Miu asks him to leave. Nick walks away and goes to Kyoshi's house to inform him about the pregnancy. He tells Kyoshi that if he wants, he'll leave the Shiramatsu clan. But instead of getting angry, Kyoshi invites him inside. He gives Nick a pair of Daisho swords and explains that they belong to his father, one for taking lives, the other for taking one's own. Kyoshi reveals that he's cared for Miu since childhood and is now entrusting her to Nick. Nick takes one of the swords and asks Kyoshi to help him bury Bowers' body. Meanwhile, at the CZU clan headquarters, Orachi is seen speaking with their leader, revealing that he has betrayed the Shiramatsu clan and plans to destroy it. The next day, the Shiramatsu leader, accompanied by Kyoshi and Nick, visits a tailor shop. While the leader is inside the fitting room, Nick follows and discovers an employee trying to strangle him. Nick attempts to save him, but Kyoshi rushes in, witnesses the scene, and shoots the attacker dead. They flee to the car, but before they can escape, Seizu clan members ambush them. Nick and Kyoshi fight back while trying to protect their leader, but during the gunfight, a Seizu member shoots and kills Kyoshi. Nick and the leader manage to escape and return to their base, where they gather the remaining clan members. The leader reveals that Seizu clan members were in the escort car, confirming that there's a traitor within the Shiramatsu ranks. They decide to seek revenge and declare war on the Seizu. Later, when Nick tells Miu about Kyoshi's death, she breaks down in grief. Nick and the remaining Shiramatsu members begin systematically eliminating Seizu members. After successfully intimidating a high-ranking Seizu leader, it seems that the Shiramatsu clan is close to winning the war. However, the Seizu leader sends a young representative to the Shiramatsu headquarters with an offer to end the war, a final confrontation in a neutral location, without weapons. The Shiramatsu leader accepts and sends Nick and other members to the arranged meeting point. To their surprise, the Seizu leader arrives accompanied by Orochi, who confesses to betraying the Shiramatsu clan. The Shiramatsu leader, who always considered Orochi like a son, forgives him and approaches him, asking him to return to the clan before it's too late. As they embrace, Orochi stabs the Shiramatsu leader, killing him. The remaining Shiramatsu members, surrounded by weapons, are unable to intervene and can only watch helplessly. Orochi declares the Shiramatsu clan finished and offers his life in exchange for Nick leaving Miu alone. Nick rejects the offer and prepares to fight, but a sniper shoots him in the leg. Meanwhile, the police raid the Shiramatsu headquarters and burn it down. That night, Nick sneaks into Miu's house, which is under surveillance by the Seizu clan, with the intention of rescuing her. Nick then heads to the Seizu headquarters carrying the Daisho sword Kyoshi gave him and asks the clan leader for permission to kill Orochi. As they face off, Orochi throws the sword to Nick, saying he won't fight him because Nick will always be an outsider and never truly part of the Yakuza. In a burst of rage, Nick decapitates Orochi with the sword. Shockingly, the Seizu leader stops one of his men from shooting Nick and tells him to leave, saying that by killing Orochi, Nick has avenged the Shiramatsu clan. Nick leaves the Seizu headquarters. The film ends with him arriving at the apartment where he has hidden Miu. She embraces him tightly, while another Shiramatsu Yakuza member guarding the place bows before Nick, suggesting that he may become the next leader of the Shiramatsu clan. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell so you never miss a recap. See you in the next one.